Hello everybody, this is, as you know, Robert E. Wilson, MD, and this is part 2 of brain versus computer versus surprise. How does the brain work? I have been fascinated by brain and also by computers all my life, and I have studied it a lot. So and many others have studied the brain. That's why we know a great deal of how the brain works. But just recently, that wasn't the case. There was belief by many scientists that the brain is a black box. We can study input in the brain and we can study output from the brain. That is our behavior. But the black box cannot be studied or understood. Well, that's not the case anymore, my friends. It never was a good idea, but that's what many believed. So, today we know a great deal about the black box. Interestingly, in a way, brain is a black box. Inside the skull, there is no light, my friends. It's dark. There is no sound. It's complete silence, except maybe for soft sounds of pulsating blood flow through the brain. But since there is no air, there should be no sound at all. So, how does the brain work? Well, as you know, my friends, brain has about 100 billion nerve cells. Huge number. And we know a great deal about nerve cell, how it works. And we know also about the whole brain, how it works, because that is everything we think and feel and act. The problem is now to understand in between one neuron and the whole brain. How, that's the difficult part, to understand how nerve cells communicate. Because one nerve cell is a relatively simple unit. It's like a small robot. What does nerve cell do? It's either resting and doing some basic biochemistry, it's just silent, resting, or fires a brief pulse of electricity. And we know that well. We see firing of electricity through the brain and its branches. And we can hear it. It makes a sound. I will show the picture and sound of the nerve cells in a later video. So that is what nerve cells do. They are electrical, either resting or they fire a fast pulse of electricity, which is called action potential or nerve impulse. And it lasts like 1 or a few thousandths of a second. Yes, brain is dark, no light, no picture, no sound. But we know, my friends, that we can see light, we can see pictures, we can see colors. So, what is in the brain when we see picture and light and motion and hear sounds and so on? Well, it turns out it's those electric currents. Everything brain does is in the form of electrical current. Of course, it's a small current. But how electric current represents everything that we see and hear and feel and think, well, everything, every picture, every sound, every thought, every feeling, everything can be converted into electric currents. That's an amazing thing, but that's how the brain works. Now, what about computer? We like our computers, we use them, but we also want to understand computers. You know, my friends, I want and you want to understand computer as well as you understand your house. You know every room in your house, you know exactly, day and night, you know the kitchen, the living room, the bathroom. That is the way, my friend, we want to understand computer. So, how computer works? Well, it works through electric currents like brain. Now, brain is more complicated than today's computer. It has also some simple chemistry. Brain makes neurotransmitters. So, brain does two things: electric currents and simple chemistry, neurotransmitters. Computers, on the other hand, don't do chemistry. All computer does is electric currents. Now, we know computer does pictures, still pictures, motion pictures, sounds, songs, music. How is that represented? Well, everything in the computer is electric currents, very fast electric currents, much faster than the brain. Brain impulses are 1 or a few milliseconds. They last, let's say 1 millisecond or a few milliseconds, while electric currents in the computer are much, much faster. They last only 1 millionth to 1 billionth of a second. Huge difference. And through the inputs, all kinds of inputs to the computer are converted into electric currents. Then computer manipulates those electric currents and gives output in the form of electric currents, which then turn into everything that computer does: pictures, sounds, commands, and so on. So, what about the surprise that we talked? Well, now it's time to reveal it. There is a special connection between computers and that surprise. So what is the surprise? Guess what, my friends? Well, it's hard to guess, so it's better just to reveal. So the connection between computer and that surprise is what? Boom, 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 boom. It's numbers. Most simple numbers that you can imagine. Numbers that consist only of two digits, 1 and 0. Now, we humans have 10 fingers, so we use decimal numbers. Computers don't have fingers. Computers use binary numbers, bits. Bit is short for binary digit, only 1 and 2. No, sorry, 0 and 1. Now, in which form? Well, we can write 0 and 1 numbers, binary numbers, with the pen on the paper. But computer doesn't do papers, it does electrical current. So we have to convert numbers into electric current, and that can be done rather simple. Very small current, like between 0 and 1 volt, means digit 0. Everything above 2 volts, let's say between 2 volts and 5 volts, is a digit 1. And that's what computer does, moving electricity in the form of digital binary numbers. In fact, all the amazing things that computer does, it does moving numbers from one location in the computer, one number at a time, moves it and manipulates that number, doing some addition with another number, and then moves the resultant number back into memory. That's all computer does, but it does extremely fast. So that's basic idea. Now, we should not stop here. We should go into all the aspects of computer work, which of course is for another occasion, and here we just did basic things. So isn't that amazing? Brain and computers. I have been fascinated with brain and computers so long that I decided not only to study it, I wrote 2 books. And I don't want to promote books, they will promote it themselves. Let me just tell you, my friends, something very simple that cannot be forgotten. One book is called Book of Love, and we can talk about love on a later occasion. The other book is titled Book of Mind and has subtitle Consciousness, Behavior, Emotions. We can talk about those books later. Now, we don't want to do this for very long. We can finish this part 2, and I will make other videos. One video will be about consciousness, which is a paradoxical in many phenomenon, in many ways. It has paradox, and that will be for next video. So thank you for listening, my friends. Have a nice day.